And I've looked at some statistics, and currently about 42% of the US population, so that's looking at children from, let's say, age 5 to 18, 23 million of those 55 million children are myopic in the United States. So 42% of children in the United States and others are myopic now, are nearsighted. And that number is growing at an enormous rate. We now know that if we don't do anything to sort of curb the direction that we're going in, that by 2050, half of the world will be nearsighted, with a significant percentage of those individuals being highly myopic. And we can talk a little bit more about why that matters in terms of quality of life and also eye health in general.
Wow. So 50% of the world by 2050. That's, 25 years or so from now. So not a long time at all.
Not a long time at all.
Are there any differences in the percentages maybe many years ago, maybe, I don't know, some in the 80s, I don't know. What do you know what the proportion of children with myopia was then?
Yeah, so the increase in myopia is pretty significant now. And we think there's a number of factors associated with that. A lot of it has to do with our activities, or in some cases, lack thereof. So
Mhm.
children are spending so much more time on near point tasks. And we especially noticed a big uptick during COVID when children were on their Chromebooks all day for school. And then they were on their digital devices or gaming afterwards. And so all day long, because they couldn't really go and engage outside as much, they were on their digital devices, and we saw a rapid increase during that time period. We know that one of the ways to prevent or slow down the onset of myopia is to get the child outside for at least 2 hours a day. So that's something that moms can do right now. If your child is not myopic, get them outside for 2 hours a day. And some of the reasons behind that is if you're out and you're interfacing with natural blue light, there's a tendency to send the signal to the retina. Once that sunlight hits the retina, that causes and sends a signal to the brain, basically through dopamine, the hormone dopamine, to tell the brain, the eye not to elongate. And so that's a mechanism by which that happens. Now, if you're already nearsighted, there is no evidence that shows that going outside will necessarily slow down the progression. However, we do know that children do need to still go outside, even if they're already diagnosed with myopia, because we now have all these additional issues that children are dealing with now that they've never done before. If you look at it now, we've got children with adult onset diabetes, like type 2 diabetes in children now, because they're not active, they're not moving, they're overweight, they're not getting outdoors, and all of that is directly tied to that. We also have children with dry eye disease now, where their oil glands that lubricate their eyelashes are already gone. And that is not something that regenerates. So that child is going to have dry eye disease and discomfort and irritation to the eyes for the rest of their lives. So all of those things are really characteristic, important for us to flex those eye muscles, get outside, look at distance, unlock the eye muscles to take away some of the visual strain. And the other thing that the blue light does is regulates our mood. And it also regulates the other hormones that allow us, like melatonin, to sleep well at night. So I like to do, and I sometimes fail at this, but I like to lead by example, is a half hour before I'm going to bed, shut down the devices. Because we do know that the blue light can disrupt the natural hormone melatonin, which prevents you from getting a restful sleep. And kids need that, so that they can have a good, engaging day the next day.